everybody, welcome to Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. How are you doing today? I'm your girl Nell and I am in the Tiny Studio and I'm trying out something different. If you are a lounge member, you may know exactly what's going on, and you can become a lounge member too. In the Tiny Studio Members Only Lounge, I discuss upcoming episodes of Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. I talk about ideas that I have for future videos and all of those great things. You can become a sustainable member of Simply Nell's Tiny Studio as well by going to the information box that's listed on this channel, and you'll be able to find information on how you can become a sustainable member of Simply Nell's Tiny Studio and become, get the behind the scenes information and scoop on what's coming up on Simply Nell's Tiny Studio channel. So what we're doing today is, this is kind of a crochet with Nell video, or more so a crafting with Nell video, depending on what it is I want to talk about or show you today. It's going to be like tutorial style maybe, but the idea is to get people interested in the art of crochet, and especially those who want to learn how to crochet. That's what this video is going to be about. And it's also a way for people in the crochet community like myself who enjoy crocheting for hours at a time. This is a video that a podcast where crocheters can just put on the video or press play, and you'll have some entertainment for how long this video is, and maybe crochet along with me. In the Tiny Studio, I'm doing a lot of different things. I'm not just I'm doing things in the Tiny Studio. I'm crocheting, or I'm crafting jewelry, because I'm a fiber artist and also a jewelry designer. And so in the Tiny Studio, I'm doing a lot of different things. And like this bracelet right here, it's a garnet bracelet that I made a few years ago. And what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to take it apart and rework it, because my wrists are becoming smaller because I've been losing weight. And I'm going to take it apart and then get another elastic or elastic cord to go to this, so that it can fit my wrist comfortably. And that's what I do. My jewelry design business, I make bracelets and earrings, and over the weekend I made maybe 5 or 6 different pairs of earrings from some designs that I came up with. So in the Tiny Studio, that's usually what I'm doing. I'm painting, I'm doing some sort of craft here. And this is a video where we're going to talk about crocheting. And you have to excuse my nails. I painted them last week or so, a nice beautiful maroon color, and I just removed the polish from them. And my hands stay in glue and leather cleaners and polishers, and I'm busy crocheting, or I'm sanding something, and so my nails is really like an artist nail. It's ridiculous sometimes, but in future videos, hopefully I will have polished them and done some things to them, because over the weekend, like I said, I've been making jewelry and cutting wires and stuff, and those kind of things are really hard on your nails. So I have some Hard as Nail On by Sally Hansen, so hopefully that'll strengthen my nails a little bit. But I'm rough on nails, and many artisans are pretty much rough on their nails. I love my nails, but I got to really do something more with them. All right then, so today what we're going to talk about is some tools of the trade that well, not necessarily tools of the trade. If you want to get started crocheting, what should you have on hand? And the obvious thing that you need to have on hand is what? Crochet hook, some yarn, right? And some scissors. And I have my crochet bag here, so let me see if I can break out with some scissors for you. And you know, it could be any type of scissors, but I have like a collection of scissors. So like here's some embroidery scissors. Yum, 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 yum. Love these. And where's that? Another pair of scissors that I have that I really, really love. And I think I let someone use them. That's another thing. Your tools will get away from you if you allow your friends, well, not your friends, if you allow your family members you loan them out to your family members and do not or forget to get your tools back. And here's another nice sharp, and these scissors are sharp. Let me tell you something. These little babies are sharp. They are very, very sharp. I have cut myself several times with these scissors. So you want to have a good crochet hook on hand. Of course, you want to have a good pair of scissors. And then these are stitch markers, which is very important in crochet as well. Stitch markers. And you can get them for, you know, maybe $100 for $5 or less on Amazon if you're shopping on Amazon or on Etsy. And if you get 100 or so, you know, that will last you a very long time. I have some more stitch markers around here. Let me see if I can find some. I keep them on the end of my scissors because I only need a couple when completing, you know, working on a project. I only need a couple, so I don't carry the whole container of stitch markers around with me. I just carry a few and I put them on my scissors here. These are the scissors that really snip me. Oh, they got me good. You can probably tell by the way they're that's sharp. But it gets the job done. It really does get the job done. So when you're starting out, that's what you need. You need a good crochet hook, and you need a pair of scissors, and you need some stitch markers, and of course you need the yarn. Now I have a yarn bowl here, and let me be honest with you, this is not necessarily, you know, a must when you're getting started crocheting, because this yarn bowl is new. This is my very first yarn bowl. I picked it up maybe about a couple of months ago when I found out that Joann Fabrics was going out of business. I went up there to see what type of deals they had going on, and this was a pretty good deal. I got this bowl for $15. It's a $25 wood bowl, but I got it for $15, and that was the best find that I discovered at Joann for this so-called going out of business sale, because you know the rest of the subsequent visits that I made to Joann, I didn't find any deals. The sales were not selling or are not selling at my local Joann store. Now, before I had a yarn bowl, I had a project bag that I would keep my yarn in, and then I would crochet from there. And then the Wonder Woman 84 movie came out, and they had collectors popcorn bowls, and I am a Wonder Woman super fan. So I still have my Wonder Woman popcorn bowl. I have two of them, by the way. Wonder Woman 84. And I use my collector's popcorn bowl or container as my yarn bowl. So you can use anything. Here is these. You can use anything to any container to put your yarn in. It really doesn't matter, just as long as it is clean and it keeps your yarn in place. That's what you're looking for. But as I said, recently I was able to purchase a yarn bowl. And what makes a yarn bowl really, really nice is the fact that it has these areas on the bowl that is really great for putting or threading your yarn through. And so while you're crocheting, you don't have to worry about the yarn being flowing here and there. So let me thread this through the hole here. So as you're crocheting, then your yarn ball stays in place, and it stays nice and neat. And your project, as you're moving along with your project, it can move smoother, because you know that your yarn is already in place, and it's not, under your couch or under your bed, under your recliner. It's not moving around your living room or where it is, or your den, or wherever it is that you crochet. It's all in one place. And usually yarn comes in a skein. And what I've done here is I have used my yarn winder to wind up a skein of yarn so that I can fit this skein comfortably inside this yarn bowl. Okay? And we can get into that at another time. These scissors are very special to me. These scissors belong to my grandfather. Okay? Let me turn it this way because I don't want to stab myself. These are my grandfather's those are his scissors, and so I use them, frequently as I crochet, because they're small enough and they are so sharp. I'm sure these scissors probably more than likely are maybe 50 plus years old. He had several in his drawer. My grandfather passed in 2010, and I have some of his effects, and this is one of my favorite things. And I use it every day. When I'm crocheting, I use my grandfather's snippers every day. And that right now is in my yarn bowl. So those are some of the things that you would need to get started crocheting. When it comes to hooks, it's really important that when you're a beginner, is that you remember that you don't have to start off with anything fancy. Okay, when you go into your store, you're going to see a lot of different types of hooks. Now, if you shop at Walmart, you're going to see hooks, but the main hooks that you're going to find at Walmart are the boy hooks, and the boy hooks look like this. And the boy hooks were the first hooks that I purchased. The very first hooks that I ever purchased. And these are, you can get these for maybe, $10.99, a whole pack of them, I think. That's how much it was when I started again crocheting. So I bought a whole pack of these. And, or you can buy them separately, I believe. But these are the hooks that I bought. As you see, I have two 6.0 millimeter hooks, because the couch monster likes to eat hooks. So I have two of them. And this one is a 8.0 millimeter. And these are really great hooks, especially for beginning. If and I would say start off with your basic hooks, because, crocheting, if you're just getting started, you might not know right off the bat whether or not crocheting is something that you want to continue. And so do not spend a lot of money buying crochet hooks, because crochet hooks can become very, very expensive. So start off being economical. And these were my first hooks again. And I purchased these in probably 2017. And you see, they're still really good. There's nothing wrong with them. They're still really great hooks. And it's just that I just evolved a little bit. And I've been crocheting. I crochet sometimes for long periods, for hours per se. And so I had to find something that was tailored to my needs. And on that note, I found that Boy had another type of hook that was fine. That was really good for me crocheting for long periods of time. And this is another Boy hook, and it's more, as you see, it is shaped a little differently, and it's shaped to really fit the palm of your hand. And so I crocheted my grandmother's blanket with this particular crochet hook. And I believe this is I want to say this is a 5 millimeter hook. And you will find as you begin to crochet that a 5 millimeter hook is what is generally recommended for many different patterns. So it would be good if you invested in a 5 millimeter hook to get started. But, depending on what your wallet looks like, I would still say to invest in a pack of boy, either ergonomic hooks or just your regular boy hooks. Okay. And eventually I started branching out and going into other areas. The hook that I use the most right now would be my clover hook. Now I have a whole set of clover hooks. I have every size almost imaginable that clover makes. I have them, and I really love the clover hooks because they are truly, truly comfortable. They're a little bit different than the boy hook. Just a little bit different. Let me see if you can see that. Just a little different. And so I really like using, you'll notice as you begin to really crochet what type of hook that you may prefer, because a lot of us in the crochet world, we're concerned about not only how it fits in our wrist, but we're also concerned about how it grabs the yarn, how the hook grabs the yarn. And there are many different variations. Many people have different tastes about when it comes to hooks. So you have hooks that look like this. And then you have, let's see, a lot of people love the Susan Bates hook. And I have a Susan Bates hook in here. Let's see if I can find it. Put that there. Because I was on a hunt for a nice hook, an ergonomic hook that would fit my hand well. So this is a Susan Bates hook. So as you see, it's just a little bit different than the boy hook. Just get that in the camera there. Just a little different than the boy, by the way that it's made. And I had to admit that when Susan Bates lovers talk about the boy hook, that they do have some brownie points on there when they talk about it, because it does grab the yarn. Let's see. Gets all the way up in there. And that's what you want. That's exactly what you want. So I use the this right here is just a pencil holder right here. My daughter put that on there for me because I was crocheting, and my wrist and my hand, the palm of my hand was hurting. And so she felt that maybe this would be a good thing to do. And it really worked for a minute, but eventually I still felt like I was being stabbed. And that's because I crochet like I cut, meat. Like I cut food. I hold it. I hold my crochet hook like a knife. And that's something that you'll eventually understand and figure out as you begin to crochet. You'll begin to feel or get the vibe for what type of hook is going to suit you best. What type of hook is going to be best for your hand and for your wrist. And you'll learn all of that eventually. But to get started, I would say, of course, be economical about it. You want to be able to try it out and see if this is a craft that you can really get into. So don't go overboard spending all your money. Just, get something basic. And the boy is really basic, and basic in a good way. And it's something that you can most definitely use. Now, eventually, as I said, I started using the clover. Clovers are more expensive, very much so. But, I felt that, at the point that I was in my crochet journey, I felt like it was worth it. It was worth the money to spend. And I eventually was able to get a whole set of clovers, and I used them frequently. Okay, I use them all the time. Use them every day, let's say. To be fancy, if you want to get fancy about it, you can move over into the furrows arena. And I am a furrows girl as well. And these are, let me get in the camera. These are furrows. Furrows are great hooks as well. They're as you see, they're ergonomic. They fit really well in your hand. You can work for long periods of time with furrows hooks. They are very, very great hooks. And when you really get into crocheting, the art of crocheting, and you really are, you know, pernisky or finicky about your work, then you'll start to get into buying furrows hooks. And I have a collection of these as well. Here's the resin furrow hook. Just great. They're just great hooks. With furrows, you have to be a little more conscientious, because if you want to buy them, because you want to get a deal, you know. And I'm all about getting the deals. I'm about spending money, as my husband said, but I'm all about getting a good deal. And you want to get your hooks, you want to be, you want to be conscious, economically, fiscally conscious of your hooks. So these are the furrow hooks. I have another one in here. Where is it? And I just love my furrow hooks. The thing about furrow is you want to keep them, you want to take good care of them, because they are pretty expensive. They're not cheap hooks by the, no way cheap. Not at all. We're talking about, between $20 and $50 for a hook. And that's when you're really, really getting into crochet. And I would not advise this for a person that's getting started, not at all. But I would say, later on in your crochet adventure or your journey, you might want to invest in some furrows hooks. They're really great. You can go to the furrows website. This is not a sponsored video. This is just me giving you the lowdown. Here's another furrows hook. I love furrows. What a great investment. And then you also find, I also have a Prims hook. And this is Prims. This is also a 5mm hook. This is a great, or H hook. This is a great hook as well. I only have one Prim. I wanted to experiment with it and see, exactly how it operated, and see whether or not I would like it. And my fingers and my wrists really love the Prim. Prim is a really good crochet hook. And I am going to, when I get the opportunity, invest in a set of Prims. Prims can be kind of expensive as well. So when it comes to investing in crochet hooks, I will always say that you should start with one hook at a time instead of buying a whole set. One hook at a time is good. With the boys, since they're so economically and fiscally viable, I would say you can buy a set of boys and, feel no pain. But with other brands, it's always best to buy them, as my grandmother would say, piece them together. So, buy one piece at a time, and then till you have a set, and then move on. Prims is a pretty good one. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, but this is a really good hook as well. But I use my Clover most often. And the same with yarn. I have to say that as well. The same goes with yarn. You want to start off being a little basic with your yarn. You don't want to go and buy something really expensive that look really cute and what have you, and then you realize I can't work with this, or I don't have the technique yet to work with these type of yarns, such as this yarn right here, which I picked up on sale. I can't remember where I picked it up at. I think it was Joann. Yeah, one. Like I said, I go to Joann. I have a Joann right around the corner, so I've been going into Joann like once a week. And I picked up this yarn. This yarn was on sale. And what was the name of this yarn? Dang it! Dang it! I can't remember. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on there. And that's a perfect example of what I'm saying, that you don't have to buy when you're getting started. You don't have to go out and buy expensive yarns or yarns that hit your fancy like that, because you really have to be careful, because you don't want to have something and you're like, oh, I don't know how to use it, but I bought it because it looks good, because it's cute, because that yarn will sit there and you'll say to yourself, why did I buy that yarn? Why did I buy that yarn? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find the yarn. Because I did that too, just getting started. I bought some yarn because I thought it was just so cute. And guess what? I did not know how to use the yarn. And since I didn't know how to really use it, that yarn sat there. And as a matter of fact, it's still sitting somewhere in storage in the tiny studio. I can't find the yarn right now, but I thought this yarn was so pretty. And let's see, I use my yarn winder to wind this yarn up last weekend. No, not last, 2 weekends ago. So this is how the yarn looks. And as you see, it's very wispy, very wispy. When I was using it, some of it just came apart. And in the yarn winding process, this is usually how the yarn starts off. And then the machine will go ahead and twist it and twist it and twist it and twist it until you have something that looks like this, right? So this yarn has only been probably spun maybe, and you can see the layers. You see the layers? You can see the layers in here. So the way the yarn was spun, it's not tightly spun or tightly wound. This is tightly wound yarn. So I saw this and I said, oh, I want to work with this. I want to work with this yarn. I think this would make a really great granny square project. And so I purchased it. But I purchased something like this type of yarn years ago when I was beginning to crochet. And that was back in 2017, because I was at Walmart and I saw the yarn. I said, oh, I'm going to crochet with that. I'm going to get these boy hooks and I'm just going to be a crocheting fool, right? Wrong. Because I really didn't know how to use this type of yarn. And so as you see, it comes apart. And it was just a big tubby mess. And so I was very disappointed. And when I go shopping and I like something, I'm obsessive about it. So, I'm at the store calculating, how much yarn I'm going to need. And so I ended up buying maybe about 4 or 5 skeins of yarn that I now call specialty yarn. And I wasn't able to use it. And what I used and what I tried to make, it was so difficult to unravel it. I ended up throwing that project away. And now I have maybe about 4.5 skeins left of that yarn. And last time I checked, that yarn had been discontinued. So I might just put it on Etsy and sell it. But getting started, you only need to get a basic yarn. Don't go to the yarn store and you see all these fancy yarns and you're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. No. Get yourself a really good basic yarn to begin with. That could be Red Heart Super Saver, because eventually that's what I went to get, was the Red Heart Super Saver. Karen's Simply Soft is a good yarn that you can use. Joanne, if you have a Joanne at your store, if you have a Joanne in your community, run up to Joanne and see what type of sales they're having right now on Big Twist, because I bought this Big Twist yarn for, I think it was for 40% off, and this was about 2 weeks ago. So Big Twist is a great yarn that you can use to get started crocheting. What should you know about yarn? Well, besides how colorful it is, the thing is that you want what? You want to get value, because you're just starting out. Get a value yarn. Get a yarn that's not going to break your pocketbook. And that yarn is usually going to be 100% acrylic. Okay? Getting started, get you a value yarn. And then make sure that yarn is 100% acrylic. Everything that you need to know about a yarn is listed on its skein. And these are called skeins. And so on the yarn, it's going to tell you exactly what you need to know. It's going to tell you that if you are a knitter, what size knitting needles you're going to need. And if you are a crocheter, it's going to tell you exactly what size hook you're going to need. 5 millimeter. Most of your, as I said before, most of your yarns, or the yarn that you will pick up at the beginning, is going to be most of the yarn that you're going to pick up is going to require a 5 millimeter hook. All right. Then it's going to tell you what the weight of the yarn is. It says it's 4 medium, 4, which is medium, and that really tells us what is the weight of the yarn, or how many times it was spun. And that's what the weight means. But you really don't have to concern yourself with that. But that's what the number 4 means. It's a medium weight yarn. Of course, you're going to find out here that it is 380 yards, which equals 6 ounces of yarn. Then you also find out other things, such as what you can use the skein for. You can make a blanket. Here's the size that you can make, that the blanket can turn into using this particular yarn. It gives you that information. What they're saying that right here, you're going to need 4 skeins of yarn to be able to make this blanket. So you're going to need 4 skeins of Big Twist Value to make this blanket. You're going to need 3 skeins of this particular yarn to make this sweater, and you're going to need 1 skein each of this yarn to make a hat or a scarf. So the back stamp of your skein of yarn is what's going to really going to help you to learn a lot about what it is that you need. So if you're following a pattern, the pattern is going to tell you how many skeins of yarn that it's going to take to complete the project. And if you're watching a YouTube tutorial, usually that tutorial is going to inform you exactly how many skeins of yarn that you're going to need to complete the project or the item that you're seeking to finish. And then on the bottom of the label, it's going to tell you some other very pertinent information. It's going to tell you about, can you machine wash it? Do you have to take it to the cleaners? If you machine wash, how do you handle it after you take it out of the wash machine? If you machine wash, do not use bleach, or you can use bleach. It says do not use bleach. Then it says to dry flat, so you're not going to put this, whatever you make, you're not going to put this in a dryer. Or if you put it in a dryer, you have to put it on a special setting. But this specifically says that you have to lie flat to dry it. And you can iron on low. So all of these things, everything you need to know about this skein of yarn is going to be on this back label or on the back stamp. So this is a big twist, and this is the value pack. And it is in the color white, but we know from reading that you cannot bleach this. So if you were, or if I was to make a project using, which I am using this, I know that I cannot put bleach on this. I cannot do that. I also know what I tell a lot of my customers and who commission different things from me. I also let them know, regardless, that I want them to, for their scarves or hats, booties, any of those things, put them into a lingerie bag, and I want them to wash it on the delicate cycle and use a little woolite or draft baby detergent on the fiber good, because that way your item will last longer and it's protected. You know, that's one thing about hand goods that, especially hand goods, crochet and knitted hand goods, we have to remember that an artisan crafted it, and it's very, very important that you take care of it so that it lasts generations, because that's what you want. You want to have an item that's going to last generations. You want to be able to pass it down to the next person, to the next generation. So that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I am so excited to begin to crochet with you. And I want you to be able to enjoy crocheting as much as I enjoy it, as much as I love it. In my next video, we're going to be talking about how to get started once you have all the supplies, how to get started crocheting. So I'm your girl, Nell. If you enjoyed this video, please drop down in the comment section and let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, please ask your questions in the comment section. I'm your girl, Nell. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.